You want a war? You got one. It's Mega Man: The Wily Wars, originally released in Japan in October 1994, and also seen a physical release in Europe in April 1995. Us North Americans didn't fare so well with that, because the only way we were playing this game was via the Sega Channel service, an online thing that Sega did for the Genesis back in the 90s. Our version of this game came out in February 1995. Rather than just go through the new content of this one, I actually wanted to make sure that I did replay runs of Mega Man 1 through 3, because there are a lot of differences between this and the old originals. Case in point, Mega Man 1's title screen for some reason having the Mega Man 3 title music. I don't know why. It's fine. Boss Select screen now has portraits instead of sprites, and that's also fine. And we are going to start where, honestly, I love starting in this game, and that's with Guts Man. As you touch down, you're going to see a lot more color than you're used to. That's one reason I like this game. In that regard, it kind of reminds me of Mega Man 7, although Mega's sprite is a lot more normal. It's not as bulky. Gonna make sure we clash. We're gonna cross these platforms. There you go. See, there's our first mistake. Our next mistake is not taking out these bladers fastly enough because, yeah, they're still a pain. Another difference coming up here is that when you pause the game and unpause, Mega Man no longer drops like a rock, and instead just falls at a normal pace. That's pretty cool. Another good thing about it is when you pick up a pellet like so, if you weren't at full health, in the original you'd get this like extra slide step or two for Mega Man 1. Here, it's just the normal way you would. Pick it up, the screen will stop for a moment. Honestly, I kind of wish it was more like Mega Man 8 in that regard, where it doesn't stop at all. But that certainly means that with the physics here being changed a bit, we can get ourselves that extra life pretty easily. And so long, big guy. We are out of here. I always forget how quick this stage is, but you know what? You have to get past that rail system first. So far, so good. We're making good progress. Is this next boss going to be a big roadblock? Let's find out. Now, Gutsman's still going to rock our block when we get caught when on the ground with his jumps. Another big change for this fight is how Gutsman tosses said blocks, because he will target where you're at a lot better here. So if you jump up, he's liable to pop you right in the face like so. But this also works against him, because you can just stay on the ground and let him toss right at your feet and then hop over. Now granted, this doesn't work if he gets close, but that's not going to happen too often. And when it does, you can just go up, over, and goodbye. One down just like that. Our super arm's going to work similarly in that regard, in that we have more of a rainbow arc to our toss instead of just tossing it straight ahead. As usual, though, you can only pick it up when you see a Guts block, and that's kind of unfortunate. It's the one big flaw about this weapon that I've never liked. Hey, you beat a stage, you get to save the game. So yeah, you don't have to beat this in one shot anymore either. There's no password system, so you don't have, for 2 and 3 either, so you don't have to worry about that. We're actually going to bring Super Arm out, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Hey, forgive me, it's been like 16 months since I recorded this gameplay. Yeah, February 2022. We're in June 2023, and you all are going to see this in July 2023. In fact, I wound up deciding to... Wow, that toss is real bad. Anyway, you know, it's one of those games that's just fun to play, but I wanted to redo the commentary so I had a little more life in me, because honestly, by the time I was done with the DOS games and Mega Man 2 Game Boy, I was starting to come down with a little bit of an illness, and it kind of took me over. Also, watch out, that beak has some really good aim with that third shot. Can still run under the super cutters, though, pretty easily. And the fleas are just going to hop away. So, see ya. Okay. Octo batteries, Susies, whatever you want to call them. They're just going to be in our way. So, why don't we just move on around as many as we can and just keep on advancing? No reason to play this game as slow and perfectly as we did in the NES, although I still have the goal to try and do at least one stage per every game on this without getting hit. It's just become a little tradition. But at the same time, we are going to take a little more risks here, even if that winds up getting us hit like so. I'm not really going to worry about it. Hope you don't either. Obviously, for this game, we probably already know which stage is definitely going to be the one that we no damage run, because you kind of saw it in the preview. No, those flying shells aren't going to give us any heck. We're just going to keep on moving. Ooh, those spikes are really detailed. Don't really want to touch them. Ow, dude! Still 10 bars, huh? You big jerk. Yeah, you always have to hop when things go wrong. You always have to hop and shoot. It's just a way of life for Mega Man. Our shots, you have to be careful on some bosses just because, well, bosses will have more invincibility time after every hit, and if you keep firing all willy-nilly, those shots aren't going to register. Oh, and by the way, if you, say, miss your super arm toss because you weren't expecting that to happen, like me, you get to fight Cut Man, who no longer takes triple damage from the Buster. Yeah, there are a few bosses in this game that have their damage values changed. Unfortunately, Cut Man's the biggest culprit in this. Also, he hops around a lot lower at times, and that makes it easy for him to just jump right into you. Thankfully, we got through that, but man, I wish I would have taken him out with the super arm here, because guess what happens when it's the refight and you don't have those super arm blocks to toss? Yeah, 28 hits. Have fun. Rolling cutter's still good. We'll see that in a bit. Elec Man is not so shockingly our third opponent because we're basically going in weakness order here. Might as well. Do we want to switch to rolling cutter right away, or do we want to play it silly? Guess we're playing it silly, but it worked out. And I don't even have any problem with the physics in this game. In fact, I'd argue they're better than Mega Man 1 NES because they feel more tight. Precise, whatever word you want to use. Now, granted, you're still going to have an occasional hop that you miss like that because, again, Mega's larger sprite. It's going to happen. It takes some getting used to play a game that, honestly, you haven't played before. It's the same issue I have when I run into, well, Mega Man 7, and I haven't played that one in a long time. Can we do the block jumps just fine? You better believe it. Unfortunately, we might not be able to do the block walk because, well, yeah. That has nothing to do with physics. That was just me making a mistake. There are always going to be those in these longer runs, because again, this is a single segment run of the first 6 Robot Masters here. We'll be doing it like that for all 3 games, where we do Robot Masters one video, Fortress Stages the next, and with a little exception for Mega Man 3 where we include the Doc Robot bots as their own video. So yeah, 7 videos for this series. Hope you enjoy it. Well, this half of the series. There's still that other part of the game that has new content. After all, the storyline of this game is pretty basic. Dr. Wily stole the time machine, and hey, you get to play Mega Man 1 through 3 again. Except now it's on the Genesis, or Mega Drive, whichever you call it, where you live. Yeah, I don't really care about that. I'm just here to play the games right now. But we do have to get through this one if we want to get back to the also important Mega Man timeline and eventually get to the rest of the NES games here. Come on down, Flea. We don't want to deal with you. Ah, well, we're not going to get that one up in time. Even if we did know how to jump with the magnet beam pretty well. Oy. Yeah, it takes a little getting used to. Again, always angry hop in a video game when things don't go your way. It'll make you feel better. But now we're starting to get the hang of magnet beam, right when we're getting to the end of the level here, which is good because I kind of don't want to get hit by this guy when we've got another tough boss coming up. If anything, I'd rather run into Elec Man himself than his Thunderbeam, because that's what screwed us up in our previous run. Yeah, it might have been 16, 17 months But I still remember where we had an issue. Got hit by the big eye, got hit by Elec Man twice. Back to the start with you. Nah. Again though, since it's a replay run, we are going to be using and abusing weaknesses whenever we can. Because there's no reason to try for a perfect run in every stage here, because I really don't want a perfect run every Mega Man game there ever was. That's just crazy. Don't even bother trying to do the old routine of shooting him with a pellet and then waiting for him to shoot, because no, he's just going to spam Thunder Beam faster. And again, with that extra invincibility, you wouldn't even be able to hit him like that. He'd still pop you. And notice how we barely lost any health for letting him run into us rather than getting shocked. Also not shocking, I know. Now that we have Thunder Beam, though, we've pretty much won. As long as we can make our jumps. Iceman stage has some of the toughest jumps in the game. At least if you don't bring Magnet Beam. We 100% are bringing Magnet Beam. Ah, this frozen paradise. What? That's kind of, not cool. Is that a pun intended? I don't know. Anyway, let's take out those crazy razies and just get on moving. Oh hey, by the way, in Mega Man 1, you have the extra height on your jumps now in water. Just like you would in the rest of the NES games. Cool. Other than the part where it's kind of throwing me off because I'm not ready for that with the spines here. There's the one-up we missed in the last stage. Yeah. I'm telling you, these pings are all over the place. Also, don't even bother trying to glitch them off the screen by jumping up at the top. I don't think that works. Get out of here, Spine. We gotta make these jumps. I'll also say that I much prefer this version of Iceman's theme over his NES one. There are a few tunes that are better on the Genesis than there are the NES. Again, I also like the look, even though it kind of feels like it has a Snake Man-ish background to it with all the green you're seeing there. But yeah, if you think we're riding on these darn little moving pads that want us gone, no thanks. Sorry, footholders, but you're not gonna hold me back this time. Especially in the second half. Wow! When you get to the pings, it's like, there's just no way. No way. It's always fun playing a game differently than the way you're used to seeing it on here. 'Cause let's face it, I usually go slow, methodically. Give myself enough time to put text boxes in. Here, though, we can just go at a pretty brisk pace and just go for the shutter as quickly as we can. Works pretty well, as long as you can get past these big eyes. Will we get past this one? Yes. And that's because he decided to go with a high hop. Thanks. Making our way to the boss shutter, and sure enough, here come the pings again. It's still easy enough to jump over them, but they spawn in a little slower than usual, so just watch out that you don't get hit. I was ready for that. Another cool thing, and this time the pun is intended, is when you beat a boss. Well, in the NES version, if you try this, his attacks are going to stay there and you're going to freeze. Here, they just completely disappear. No worry about getting posthumously popped by them, that's for sure. And that's a good thing, because those Ice Slasher shots, they really hurt. Oh, that's a lot of points that don't matter. And a few more. As always, Ice Slasher freezes enemies, and then you just switch to something else and use it. I think it's a good weapon, but in this game, I mean, you're probably going to go with Rolling Cutter, Thunder Beam, the one we're going to get at the end of this stage. And maybe even one more, but we'll worry about that when we get to it. And no, it's not Super Arm. Oh yeah, this has that Genesis sound font I'm used to. It's a good song, but I don't know if it's my favorite. Don't always have to shoot everything either. Points are nice, but getting through these levels in one piece is nicer. Here's our chance to show off Ice Slasher. and get ourselves some weapon pellets that we really don't need. Or we could just, freeze things wrong and, okay. That could have gone better, but it's early enough that it's not a big deal. Oh, man. Well, okay. Look at that wavy background, though, as long as it doesn't make you sick to look at it. Because that's just a neat little effect. I like it more than just the single-color backgrounds of the NES games. I don't know why. It's just something that... I guess it's the Mega Man 8 fan in me. By the way, fall through the floor there, and you better be careful or you get hit by that pyre of fire and smacked into the pit. Just watch it. It's a doozy. Gotta be careful of all these little, what are they called again? I mean, I know they're Chankies, but what is their name? Shoot, it's been so long since I've played Mega Man. No! Well, we could sneak our way through these fire, blasts, but no thanks. We're just gonna take the easy way out. Already showed our skills off in the NES game with that. Thank you very much. Watch out for the killer bullets because they still explode, and their explosions kind of cause a little bit of a slowdown, as you're seeing. In fact, just their mere presence is kind of doing that. Yeah, Wily Wars, while it can be a fun game, it's got some technical issues. And also keep in mind for this playthrough that I have put on a 60 frame per second patch to the game to make it more like how you'd play it on, say, the Sega Genesis Mini, Nintendo Switch Online Plus, if you paid for that, or if you paid the full 50. Look, hey, I bought an SO. I like playing Among Us on it, but 50 for that? Games that you don't... I don't know. Anyway, time to freeze fire, man. His shots are slower, and he's not as crazy with the blasts either. But at the same time, I have a good habit of jumping Mega right into him. Sorry about that. Yeah, still sorry. But thankfully, it's still just 7 hits with Ice Slasher, and then he's, put on ice there. And of course, Firestorm is our normal shield weapon. We'll be seeing it a little bit. Not as much as we will the best weapons in the game. But yeah, it's clearly in that second tier of goodness. And it's definitely better than Super Arm. Definitely. Wow, we are already on the last spot. I'm kind of surprised at how quickly this is going. I just have a little more energy for this, I guess, than I did back when I tried the commentary the first time around. Anyway, Bomb Man's here, and it's gonna be a little fun when we get to that party. But for now, let's take care of these fleas after they, do a little chip damage to us. Again, I'm not used to seeing them coming, and they fly a little faster on this. Still, you can hug the wall here to avoid the bombs, or you can just jump right up and get hit by them too. I mean, whatever floats your boat. Sheesh, Mega. Yeah, that's the deal when I play an extended session like this. More and more silly mistakes happen, but at the same time, they're not costly in the slightest, so we're not going to worry about it. And just make sure that you're not making mistakes when you see the spikes, because there are some parts in this stage that are pretty darn tough to get by originally. And then there are spots like this. Joseph, we meet again. Or do we just meet for the first time? You know what? Let's just cut this meeting short. Thank you. So long. Oh no. Ah. Why'd we have to do that? Well, we'll freeze you again and then we'll make sure we take care of you. That's another thing to watch out for. You don't want to move back too far, because yeah, sometimes these enemies will spawn in pretty quickly. It's not as crazy as it is with other games published by Minakuchi Engineering. By the way, they're the ones that made this game. Just like the 4 of the 5 Game Boy games. We've only seen one of them since coming back to them, that being the original Dr. Wily's Revenge. Okay, just get going. You can either take it from the lower half here or go up top on the blocks. I prefer going up higher just because I'm more confident in the jumps. Freeze that flying shell and then make sure that you got enough time to cross this spike bed, because you do not want to land in those. They kind of hurt. We could go for the 1-up, but I already faced my quota of Spiky Joes, Sniper Joes. Sorry, I got the spikes in the mind. Joe, you don't mean anything to me, other than just being a pain in the backside. See, I don't want to fight you, I just want to get through the shutter. I want to take care of Bomb Man. I want to get ready to get this one wrapped up in just a little bit. What do you say? At least you can still fall down this ladder and take care of things just nicely. But the one thing to watch out for with Bomb Man now is that he actually tries to hop on you instead of away from you if you get too close. That's actually going to mess me up there. Wasn't expecting that. Again, I didn't look the knowledge up on this game of how strategies work. I just went right in. Well, I don't want to say pseudo-blind. I've seen this game played a ton. Hey, by the way, that's 6 spots down. That means the game is over. Right? Oh, by the way, real quick, just gonna say right now that they actually made Hyper Bomb way better than it used to be. You'll see more of that in Part 2. Well, maybe a little bit more in Part 2. I don't think we use it as much as I want. That's kind of a shame. Oh yeah, that's right. After you beat the first 6 stages, Dr. Wily's there. Probably means he has a fortress. Why do I know this? Because we've played Mega Man 1 on this channel before, gang. Were you not here? You should watch that one, it was pretty good. And you should also watch next time for Part 2 of Mega Man the Wily Wars Mega Man 1 replay run. Something like that. See ya.